Hey everybody, this is Alan, Self-Reliance Energy. I did another little system here last week. It's going to look a little strange here because there's a lithium battery and some lead acid, and I will explain that. To give you a story though, this customer had another company come in and they installed a pair of sun golds. And these are not even the original sun golds. They had two inverters put in and they didn't work right. And they couldn't figure them out, couldn't get them to work right. So they took them out and they put these in and worked on them several times. Told the customer that it was working. He caught a hold of me because the company he was dealing with went out of business. I came and looked at it, and there were multiple things that were done wrong. I'm not going to go into all the details of everything, but it was an impressive list. So I've corrected several things. They worked, but they kept faulting out. So finally, we just decided, the customer and I, that we would put in the eg4s 6000 XPs. Unfortunately, there is not a great deal of space here. So this was kind of a mess when I started, but I put in the electrical gutter to go across there. Put in the two eg4s. You had the Energy Tech 10K battery. They already had a couple of boxes that had the lightning protection, one on the AC input and the other was output from the inverters. Of course, there's my little keeper that goes on the wall for the documents. We went ahead, all the solar lines were coming in up there. I made a junction box and put in the spids for the 4 different lines. So each one is protected there. One of the things that I did for the customer was put in a transfer switch. This transfer switch allows them to switch back and forth between the grid or the solar system to feed this distribution panel. I know the cover's off, and some people will probably say, oh, that cover's off. Well, whatever. He still has an electrician coming in to do some different work to this building, so it probably won't get put on until he's done. So back to this battery. These batteries are fine. They may not be the best one on the market, but they're a good battery. But here's what I ran into. When these would try to start up a heavy load, for instance, he has a heat pump for heating and cooling in this building. The inrush on that heat pump is just a touch over 50 amps. Now that's 50 amps, that is about half of what a pair of these are capable of or rated for. And for surge, that would be full load for a continuous run. But for surge, they'll do a lot more than that. Every time we tried to start that, the whole system would just shut down, wouldn't even try to start it up. And I was on the phone with Signature Solar trying to figure out what the heck was going on, what the problem was. Couldn't figure it out. Finally, a thought occurred to me in the middle of the night when I was sleeping. I thought, that has a single battery with a BMS system feeding it. Now the continuous output on this battery is rated to go as high as 200 amps. It'll surge a little higher than that. But in order to get, you figure that to go from 50 volts to 240 volts is roughly 5 to 1. So to get that 50 amps for the compressor out there, for the compressor on the heat pump, to get it to start, you got to pull about 250 plus any inefficiencies. You're probably trying to pull 260 or 270 amps off this battery that's rated for 200. What it was doing was, every time we tried to start it up, it would go into a self-protect mode. It would default, it would shut itself off for a few seconds because the current was too high, and then everything would go off and then start back up shortly thereafter. So what I did was to test this theory, because that was my theory anyhow. I brought in some batteries, some lead acid batteries. They don't have any BMS, they don't have any, you know, they don't shut themselves off or anything like that, and they'll put out a stunning amount of current. I've seen lead acids easily put out 500 amps. So a lot more than what these others will. So I hooked those up. They're, of course, they're 12 volters in series for your 48 volts. And then I tried it, and it started the heat pump, no problem whatsoever. These inverters didn't even struggle with it. So then I went over to the air compressor, which is down at the other end of the building. Both items are down there. And the inrush on it is 103 amps. That is just about almost 26 kilowatts. The rating on this, the manufacturer says that with two of them, it'll do 24 kilowatts. And so that one is about 25 kilowatts, I would say, somewhere in that neighborhood to start that. It wouldn't even try before. But with this lead acid here that does not shut itself off, it easily started that compressor. It fired up, no problem. Couldn't really tell any difference between whether it was on these inverters or how it starts when it's on the grid. So these inverters are very strong. Now, of course, you can't run that kind of high output through them 24/7 or anything like that. They're not going to do that. But their ability to handle that startup load was really impressive. I just had to get rid of the bottleneck of power flowing into the system for the inverters to use. We're not going to leave it this way. Something will get changed. But so that he can use this system, I'm temporarily going to leave him doubled up like this. Okay, well, I think that pretty much covers it. Hope you learned something. I certainly learned something from this project. I'd not had one before that the battery supply was the problem. I had a few other things I've had to deal with over the years, but this was a new one for me. Hope you enjoyed the video. I look forward to making another one for you.